Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Marketing Empress. I know that it's been a while since I last uploaded on the channel, and honestly, there were multiple things which were stopping me from shooting a video. Some issues on the personal front, and of course, the COVID outbreak here in Mumbai was really bad at the start of Jan. Nonetheless, I'm back, and we have actually crossed 280 subscribers. In fact, we are nearing 290 now, and hence I have to release this next video in the series, which will answer the question of where do you see yourself in the next 5 years. Now, this is one of the most commonly asked questions, and hence I thought it's bound to be answered in these videos that I have under this particular series. If you're interested in finding out the correct answer to this particular question, then keep on watching. Okay, now before we jump into the content of this particular video, let me set the milestone for the next video. Now, by the time this video is going to be uploaded on YouTube, I am assuming we must have already reached around 290 subscribers. And hence, the next milestone has to be of 300 subscribers before I release the next video in this particular series. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the content of this video. This video will cover the following questions. What is the reason behind asking this particular question? How should you approach this question? What are the common mistakes that you need to avoid? And lastly, we'll look at a bonus tip. Let's start with the first one. Let's understand, why does the interviewer ask you this question? Now, as mentioned earlier, this is one of the most commonly asked questions. But guys, honestly, since this is one of the most commonly asked questions, it becomes all the more difficult for you to crack this one. See, most of the candidates that I come across have this mentality that, अरे हमें कल का नहीं पता है, 5 years down the line का आंसर कैसे देंगे? So I completely understand your mindset, but from an interviewer's perspective, this particular question holds a lot of importance. In this video, I will be giving you the two main reasons, okay, for which the interviewer asks you this question. And stick around right till the end because I have a bonus tip planned for you which will make sure that you ace this particular question and in turn ace this particular interview as well. So let's start with understanding what are the two main reasons for which the interviewer asks you this question. The first reason is that they need to know what is your long-term perspective. Now, when I say a long-term perspective, it's important to note that there will be candidates who do not really have a long-term goal in mind. They might be applying for a particular job thinking, okay, this has a good brand name, it's a good profile, it's a good package. Will I stick around in this particular job for the next 5 years? The answer to that may not be available with you at this point of time. However, when the interviewer asks you this question, you need to act like someone who has a long-term perspective coming into the picture. The second reason behind asking this question is to see if you can last in this particular company for 5 years. Now, there's a difference between these two reasons, guys. The first reason, which talks about having a long-term perspective, may be specific to only understanding if you have a long-term vision coming into the picture. Whereas the second reason may be more specific to the job that you're applying for. Right? So, for example, if the interviewer is asking you this question and in some way your answer relates to you being in this particular company for 5 years, then that's going to be a definite add-on. So, these are the two reasons why the interviewer asks you this question. Now, let's look at the right way to answer this question. As always, there is nothing concrete or there's no single answer that if you end up talking about in the interview, you are sure to crack this particular answer. But nonetheless, I have a couple of points that I think you guys should talk about when you're answering this particular question. And let's look at them one by one. Create a long-term career goal in your mind. Now, say for example, you are interviewing for a marketing role. Now, at this point in time, you may only know specific areas within marketing. So, if you may be aware of social media marketing, that's one area that you can possibly talk about. But in the long run, as a marketing professional, as a senior marketing manager, for example, you need to know multiple other things within marketing. If that's the case, then it becomes all the more important for you to have a long-term goal. Within a span of say 5 years, you will ensure that you have the right skill sets that a senior marketing manager will have. Say you'll know social media marketing, you'll know brand marketing, you'll know digital marketing, and multiple other areas within the marketing domain. Now that is showing them a clear long-term career goal coming into the picture. Second, this guys is extremely important. You need to create a link with your JD and your career goals. Now what's a JD? It's the job description. Most of the candidates only look at the job description before applying for a job and then put it on the side because, okay, I've already decided I am going to go and interview for this particular company. But that may not be enough. Your job description needs to be given a lot of importance. There are these, in my opinion, there are these smaller clues that are given to you in the job description that you can relate to yourself, you can relate it to your career, you can relate it to your goals, and hence end up answering a lot of questions in an interview. So for this particular question as well, linking it back to your job description makes a lot of sense. Last one and the most important one, guys, you need to keep things realistic. What do I mean by this? I simply mean by this that there is a difference between an interviewer asking you where do you see yourself in 10 years as against where do you see yourself in 5 years. And 5 years is more realistic in nature, guys. So it's important that you talk about things that are going to be realistic, that are going to lead to conversion. Today, you cannot sit for an interview for a marketing executive and in the interview you say that I aim to become the CEO in 5 years. That's not happening. Well, in most cases, let me clarify, in most cases that's not really happening. And hence it becomes important for you to understand what is happening and what's not going to happen. And only talk about things that are realistic or that can lead to conversion. Now let's look at the common mistakes that you need to avoid. I think in any of the interview questions that you watch out on YouTube, most of the people will talk about things that you should do. Not many talk about things that you should not do. And hence, I ensure that any video that I come up with talks about this particular thing. So guys, I think from school days itself, in your school as well, you are taught that you should be doing these things. But in no school or in most of the schools, you're not taught about what are you not supposed to do. And that is the game changer. That is truly the game changer. And hence it's important for you to know what you should not do or what you should avoid while answering this question. Number one thing that you should avoid, I don't know. Guys, you may not know. You may not know where you are in 5 years. But is that something that you communicate to the interviewer? Definitely no. You cannot tell them that you're not aware of where you see yourself in 5 years. That's the most ridiculous answer that you could possibly come up with. And it should totally be avoided. Even if you are not actually aware of it, and if you have not prepared for this answer, come up with something at that point of time. But do not make the grave mistake of saying, I don't know where I see myself in 5 years. That is definitely going to be a negative. Second, give them your personal goals. Now I have a catch on this one and I hope you guys stick around to understand what I'm actually trying to say with this. When it comes to your personal goals, what you need to be aware of is that your personal goal has to have a link with your professional goal. If you're only talking about personally I want to achieve this at some point in time in my life, the interviewer is not really interested. But if you take that same personal goal and try to relate it to a professional goal or an aim that you have, then it's definitely going to be an add-on. Third, monetary goals. Guys, money is important. Of course it is, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, if that is something that you're solely focusing on in the interview, it's not going to be that big a positive. Okay. So it's important to ensure that you do not talk about your monetary goals explicitly. Say for example, you want to mention, I want to earn 5 crores in the next 5 years. Now that might be something that you have at the back of your mind, but that's not something you need to talk about in front of the interviewer, right? So ensure that that is also something that you avoid. Lastly, let's look at the bonus tip. Okay, so if you are sticking around right till this point in the video, I'm sure you've liked the content. Ensure that you like, share and subscribe to the channel by hitting the bell notification icon so that the next time around we upload another video in this series, you guys are notified first. Trust me, a like and a comment goes a long way. So if you've liked this video at least 20%, please go ahead and leave a comment, and I'm sure to reply to it and help you guys with whatever you require. Now coming to the bonus tip. Now, when it comes to the bonus tip, I always have certain things that I need to share with you, which is not something I've covered in the video so far. With respect to this particular video, I have some sample answers that I had prepared for my interview process, and which are given on the website www.themarketingempress.com, and I will link the blog post down in the description box so that you guys can go check it out. Yeah, I think that's about it for this particular video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something out of it. If you did, make sure you know the drill, right? So please go ahead and like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.